It was a perfect day in California's gold country. The sun was warm, the air was crisp. A couple, who we now know as John and Mary, decided to take their dog for a walk. This was something they did all the time. They walked the same path on their rural property nearly every day. They knew every twist and turn of the trail. They knew every old tree and every familiar rock. But on this day in April 2013, something was different. Something was out of place. This walk would not be like any other. It would change their lives forever in a way they could never have imagined. As they strolled along a path near an old gnarled tree, Mary noticed something odd. It was a piece of metal sticking out of the ground. It was old and rusted. It looked like the top of a buried can. She pointed it out to John. At first they thought it was just another piece of trash. Their property, like much of the old gold country, had its share of forgotten junk left behind by people long ago. John poked at it with a stick. It was stuck fast in the earth. Curiosity got the better of them. What was this thing? Why was it buried here? They decided they had to find out. They knelt down and started to dig around the object with their hands. The ground was hard, packed down by years of sun and rain. The can was surprisingly heavy. As John worked it loose, he felt a strange weight inside. It wasn't just filled with dirt or rocks. He finally managed to pull the can from the ground. It was completely rusted through. As he lifted it, the lid broke, and he saw something that made his heart stop. It was the unmistakable glint of gold. Not just a little bit of gold, but the distinct circular edge of a coin. He couldn't believe his eyes. Stunned, they carried the heavy, crumbling can back to their house. Their minds were racing. Was this real? Could it possibly be what they thought it was? Inside their home, they carefully emptied the contents. Gold coins spilled out onto their table. They were old, dusty, and covered in dirt, but they were undeniably real. The coins were thick and heavy. They had eagles and faces of liberty on them. John and Mary just stared, completely silent. They had stumbled upon something incredible. This was not just a can of old junk. It was a can of treasure. And this was only the beginning of their amazing journey. That first can was a shock to the system. But it also sparked a tantalizing question in their minds. If there was one can, could there be more? The thought was too exciting to ignore. They knew they had to go back to that spot. They had to search again. John grabbed a metal detector they had lying around. It was an older model, nothing fancy, but it was about to become the most important tool they owned. With their hearts pounding with anticipation, they headed back to the old tree on the hill. The place where they took their dog for a walk had suddenly become a potential treasure map. John switched on the metal detector and swept it over the ground near the first hole. Almost immediately, the machine began to buzz loudly. It gave a strong, clear signal. There was definitely more metal buried right there. They started digging again, this time with more purpose. They used shovels and hand tools, carefully removing the dirt. A few inches down, they hit something hard. It was another can. This one was in slightly better shape than the first. It was just as heavy, if not heavier. The excitement was almost unbearable. They had found a second treasure chest. Over the next 2 weeks, their quiet property turned into an archaeological dig site. Every spare moment was spent at the spot they now called Saddle Ridge. The metal detector kept leading them on. Each time it screamed, they knew they were close to another discovery. They unearthed can after can. In total, they found 8 metal containers buried in the ground. Some were deeper than others. Some were larger. Each one was a time capsule filled with gold. The work was hard. They were covered in dirt and sweat, but they didn't care. They were on the adventure of a lifetime. Imagine the feeling of pulling each can from the earth. The weight of it in your hands would tell you everything. This wasn't a game. This was real treasure. They would carefully carry each new find back to their house. The collection of cans grew, and so did their astonishment. They lined them up, a row of rusted, dirt-caked containers that held an unbelievable secret. Inside their home, the pile of gold coins grew larger and larger. They were unearthing a piece of history, one can at a time. The simple dog walk had turned into the discovery of America's greatest hidden treasure. As John and Mary cleaned the dirt from the coins, the true scale of their discovery began to sink in. This wasn't just a handful of gold pieces, this was a hoard. They counted each coin, one by one. The final tally was astonishing: 1,427 gold coins. The sheer number was hard to comprehend. Piles of gold now sat where they used to put their mail. The coins were of different sizes and denominations. They found $5 coins, known as half eagles. They found $10 coins, called eagles. And the majority of the hoard was made up of big, beautiful $20 coins, known as double eagles. What made this find even more special was the condition of the coins. Many of them looked as if they had just been minted yesterday. They were in uncirculated or near mint condition. This was incredibly rare for coins that were over a century old. The person who buried them had clearly saved the best and newest coins they could find. The dates on the coins ranged from 1847 to 1894. This suggested the treasure was buried sometime in the late 19th century, at the tail end of the Wild West. It was a snapshot of a time when gold was king in California. The coins came from various U.S. mints. Most were struck at the nearby San Francisco Mint, which made perfect sense for a California treasure. But there were others from farther away, including one from a mint in Georgia. Each coin told a small part of a larger story. Among the collection were some true superstars of the coin world. More than a dozen of the coins were considered the finest known examples for their specific date and mint mark. This meant that nowhere in the world was there a better preserved version of that particular coin. They didn't just find treasure, they found the best of the best. One coin in particular stood out as the crown jewel of the hoard. It was an 1866 S coronet $20 double eagle. What made this coin so special was that it was missing the motto, "In God We Trust." This motto was added to the coin's design later in that year. Only a few examples of the no motto variety are known to exist from the San Francisco Mint. Finding one in such pristine condition was a numismatist's dream. It was a single coin worth a fortune all by itself. The couple had no idea at the time, but they were holding one of the rarest and most desirable coins in American history. At first, John and Mary only knew the face value of the coins. They added it all up. The $5, $10, and $20 pieces came to a total of about $27,000. That was a lot of money, especially for something you find while walking your dog. It was certainly a life-changing amount of cash. They were thrilled. They thought they had hit the jackpot, but they had a feeling that the coins might be worth more than just the numbers stamped on them. Their age and their amazing condition had to count for something. They were right, but they had no idea just how right they were. They decided they needed an expert opinion. Finding a buried treasure is one thing, but knowing what to do with it is another. They needed someone they could trust. They did their research and found a respected rare coin dealer named Don Kagan. His company, Kagan's Inc., had been in the business for a long time. They carefully packed up a few of the coins and went to meet him. They were nervous. They didn't tell him how many coins they had. They just showed him a small sample and asked him what he thought. Don Kagan was a seasoned professional. He had seen countless rare coins in his career. But when he looked at the pieces John and Mary brought him, he was blown away. He immediately recognized their importance. The quality was unlike anything he had ever seen from a buried treasure. He knew this was something big. He asked them if they had any more. John and Mary looked at each other, and then they told him the whole story. They told him about the 8 cans and the more than 1,400 coins. Kagan could hardly believe what he was hearing. He knew this was the discovery of a lifetime. After examining the entire hoard, the experts began the process of valuation. This wasn't just about the price of gold. It was about rarity, condition, and historical significance. As the numbers came in, everyone was stunned. The estimated market value of the Saddle Ridge hoard was not $27,000. It was over $10 million. Let that sink in. $10 million. It was the largest and most valuable discovery of buried treasure in the history of the United States. John and Mary, the quiet couple from Gold Country, were now multimillionaires. Their lives had been completely and irrevocably transformed by a simple walk. For nearly a year, the Saddle Ridge hoard remained a closely guarded secret. John, Mary, and the team at Kagan's Inc. worked quietly behind the scenes. They knew that news of a $10 million treasure would cause a frenzy. They needed to protect the couple's privacy and the security of their property. The first step was to get every single coin officially authenticated and graded. This was, honestly, a massive undertaking. They turned to the top experts in the field, the Professional Coin Grading Service, or PCGS. Each of the 1,427 coins was carefully examined, graded for its condition, and sealed in a protective case. The grading process confirmed what they already suspected. The hoard was a numismatic miracle. The coins were of exceptional quality. The PCGS experts were just as amazed as Don Kagan had been. They assigned grades that were, honestly, unheard of for coins recovered from the ground. As each coin was sealed in its official holder, the label told a powerful story. It read, "Saddle Ridge Hoard," forever linking the coin to its incredible origin. This provenance, or history of ownership, would make the coins even more desirable to collectors around the world. The secret was getting bigger and harder to keep. Finally, in February 2014, the time came to share the discovery with the world. Kagan's Inc. prepared a major press announcement. The story was electric. It had all the elements of a Hollywood movie: an ordinary couple, a walk in the woods, and a buried treasure worth millions. The news exploded across the globe. It was on every major television network, on the front page of newspapers, and all over the internet. The Saddle Ridge Hoard became an instant sensation. Everyone was talking about it. Who were the lucky finders? Where exactly did they find it? The public was captivated by the mystery and the romance of the story. John and Mary chose to remain anonymous. They used pseudonyms to talk to the media through their representatives. They wanted to stay out of the spotlight and avoid a modern-day gold rush on their land. They shared their story but kept their identities safe. They were just regular people who had stumbled into an extraordinary situation. They watched from a distance as their secret find became a global phenomenon. The world was fascinated by their luck, but for them, the most important thing was figuring out how to handle their newfound wealth and the incredible responsibility that came with it. Once the excitement about the discovery settled down, a new question emerged. It was the question on everyone's mind: who buried all that gold, and why? The coins themselves offered some clues. They were dated between 1847 and 1894, meaning they were likely buried sometime after 1894. This was a time in American history before the government had fully insured banks. Many people, especially in the rugged West, didn't trust financial institutions. They preferred to keep their savings close. Burying gold coins in sturdy cans on your own property was like having a personal underground vault. Experts and historians began to speculate. The person who buried the hoard was clearly someone who had access to a lot of cash. They were also someone who preferred to save new, uncirculated coins. This wasn't just a random collection of pocket change. It was a carefully curated savings account. One popular theory suggested the owner might have been involved in the gold mining industry. Perhaps they were a successful miner or someone who supplied goods and services to miners. They might have slowly accumulated the coins over decades, burying a new can every few years as their wealth grew. The condition of the cans supported this theory. They showed different levels of decay, suggesting they were not all buried at the same time. The first can found was the most rusted, meaning it was likely the oldest or buried in the wettest spot. The others were in better shape. It paints a picture of someone making regular deposits into their earthen bank. They would walk out to their secret spot, dig a hole, place a can full of the shiniest new gold coins inside, and cover it back up. It was a system that worked perfectly, until the person who buried it never came back to retrieve it. Ultimately, the identity of the original owner remains a complete mystery. No one ever came forward with a credible claim to the treasure. Legal searches found no records that could link the hoard to any specific person or family. Was it a wealthy recluse? An outlaw on the run? A successful businessman who died unexpectedly? We will likely never know for sure. The ghost of Saddle Ridge keeps their secret well. This mystery is a huge part of what makes the hoard so fascinating. It leaves room for our imaginations to run wild and dream up stories about the person who left a fortune behind. Finding a $10 million treasure is a dream come true, but it also comes with big decisions. What do you do with it all? For John and Mary, the answer was a mix of practicality and generosity. First, they decided to use some of the money to improve their own lives. They had bills and loans to pay off, just like most people. The treasure gave them complete financial freedom. It was a chance to finally live without the stress of debt. They could secure their future and take care of their family. It was a quiet, personal victory that the gold provided them. But they also knew this discovery was bigger than just them. It was a piece of American history. They wanted to share that history with others. They decided to sell most of the coins, allowing collectors and enthusiasts a chance to own a piece of the Saddle Ridge hoard. They teamed up with Kagan's to market the collection. In a very modern twist, many of the coins were sold on Amazon.com. It was one of the first times a major historical treasure was made available on such a mainstream platform. This allowed people from all walks of life to see and even purchase a legendary artifact. The couple also showed incredible generosity. They used a portion of their newfound wealth to donate to charities in their local community. They wanted the good fortune that had come to them to spread to others who needed help. They also wanted to preserve the Hoard's legacy for the nation. They donated 2 significant coins to the Smithsonian Institution's National Numismatic Collection. This means that a part of the Saddle Ridge Hoard will be preserved forever in a museum, where it can be studied by experts and seen by the public for generations to come. It was their gift back to the country. While they sold most of the coins, John and Mary couldn't part with everything. They decided to keep a small selection of their favorite pieces. These coins weren't just valuable objects to them. They were mementos of the incredible adventure they had been on. They were a reminder of that fateful day they took their dog for a walk. They kept a few coins as family heirlooms, a tangible link to the story that had changed their lives. They called this small personal collection the Pail of Gold. It was their private piece of the treasure, a symbol of their unbelievable luck. The Saddle Ridge Hoard quickly became more than just a collection of valuable coins. It became the stuff of legend. The story captured the American imagination in a powerful way. It tapped into the classic dream of striking it rich, of finding buried treasure where you least expect it. The fact that it happened to an ordinary couple made it even more relatable. It felt like something that could happen to anyone. This transformed the Hoard from a news story into a modern piece of American folklore, a tale to be told and retold for years to come. In the world of coin collecting, the Saddle Ridge Hoard provenance became a mark of distinction. Owning a coin from this famous discovery was like owning a piece of a legend. Auctions featuring coins from the Hoard drew intense interest. Collectors were eager to add a piece of this historic find to their own collections. While the provenance didn't always add a huge premium to the price, it added something more valuable: a story. Each slabbed coin with the Saddle Ridge Hoard label was a conversation starter, a direct link to the greatest buried treasure ever found in the United States. The discovery also had a huge impact on the historical record. It provided a perfect time capsule of the coinage of the late 19th century. Because the coins were in such incredible condition, they became the new standard by which other coins from that era are judged. Numismatists and historians could study them to learn more about the minting processes and the economy of the time. The Hoard wasn't just a pile of money, it was a wealth of information. It shed new light on how people lived, saved, and survived in the American West. The legend of the Saddle Ridge Hoard continues to grow. The coins are now scattered among collectors around the world, each one carrying its amazing story with it. The mystery of who buried the gold only adds to its mystique. It has become a benchmark for all future treasure discoveries. When other hoards are found, they are almost always compared to Saddle Ridge. It set the bar for what a truly spectacular find looks like. The story of John and Mary's lucky day is now permanently woven into the fabric of American history and adventure. Why does a story like the Saddle Ridge Hoard fascinate us so much? It's because it speaks to the adventurer in all of us. It reminds us that our world, even in the 21st century, is still full of secrets and mysteries waiting to be uncovered. It proves that fantastic discoveries are not just things you read about in old books or see in movies. They can happen in the real world, to real people. The idea that you could be walking on $1 million treasure right now is a powerful and exciting thought. It makes the world feel a little more magical. The discovery inspired a new generation of treasure seekers. After the news broke, sales of metal detectors went up. People started looking at their own backyards and local parks with a new sense of wonder. What forgotten history might be buried just beneath their feet? The Saddle Ridge Hoard served as a powerful reminder that there are still fortunes to be found. This was reinforced in 2023 with the discovery of the Great Kentucky Hoard, a cache of Civil War-era gold coins found in a cornfield. These finds prove that America's past is still hiding incredible secrets. The legacy of the Hoard is not just about the money, it's about the story of discovery itself. It's about the thrill of the hunt and the sudden, breathtaking moment when you realize you found something extraordinary. John and Mary's story is a testament to curiosity. What if they had just dismissed that rusted can as a piece of junk and kept walking? Their lives would be completely different. Their decision to stop, to dig, and to investigate that little piece of metal sticking out of the ground is what led to everything. It's a great lesson in paying attention to the world around you. In the end, the Saddle Ridge Hoard is a quintessentially American story. It combines the history of the Wild West and the gold rush with the modern-day dream of instant wealth. It's a story of luck, mystery, and incredible fortune. It reminds us that adventure can be found anywhere, even on the path you walk every day, and it keeps alive the enduring call of treasure, whispering to all of us that there are still amazing discoveries out there, waiting for the right person to come along at the right time. All you have to do is keep your eyes open.